extremely special. Obviously, the previous game, as we spoke about in Newlands, was almost like on fast forward. Sort of exciting game, and this was the complete opposite. It needed a game of a lot of grinding, a lot of hard work, and a lot of pushing yourself for longer and longer. And that for me makes this test match very, very special. Obviously the previous one, as we've all said, that was probably the most exciting one and the best one to watch. But for me, I take a lot of pleasure in winning games like this, where the team needs a lot of heart and a lot of character and a lot of fight to make sure we get across the line. Yes, the conditions wasn't in our favour, or the conditions that we would have liked, but the conditions was there and we still needed to win. And I thought we did that brilliantly. There was times when India would put us under pressure, and every single time we responded by a huge character. So yes, extremely special this test match, and to be 2-0 up in this series is a very, very happy feeling.
Different way than you were expecting.
Yeah, I was very concerned when I got here leading up to the test match. As I said to you guys in the press before the test, that it looked not like the Centurion wicket that I know. And that is a concern, to be honest. I'm very honest about good things about when we get it right, but there's also then it's fair to comment on when we can get better. So I believe that this was an opportunity that we missed. We can blame the groundsman, but I feel that we have to blame ourselves as well. We made a process where we made sure that Cricket South Africa has someone that looks after all the groundsmen to get the right kind of pitches when we play against teams. Not to make it ridiculous. We never wanted something ridiculous. We just wanted a pitch with pace and bounce. So I think there is a concern that we're not getting it right, and this is not the first time. I can think of 3 or 4 occasions over the last 12 months. So we need to be better as a collective. So that's something that I'll certainly be taking up and making sure that we try and improve. And then fast forwarding into the test match, or your other part of your question, when we batted first, obviously I think it was a big toss to win. The pitch, we knew that it was going to be lower, but we didn't know it was going to take so long to get to that process and be so slow. So it's important for us to, in that first innings, put a decent total on the board. I do feel that we were 60, 70 runs short from the position that we were in overnight, or just before overnight. Those few silly wickets towards the end of the first day was a bit of panic, and we felt we were a little bit short. But the next 3 or 4 days, the team responded beautifully. The bowlers were exceptional on a wicket that didn't offer a lot. A guy coming into his first test, standing behind it slips. I was incredibly impressed with his control, and so with all the other bowlers. And then once again, AB and Dean's partnership, huge character. But also yesterday, when the two of them were out, my only mission was to find someone to bat with me as long as possible to take the wind out of the Indian cricket team. And we knew that if we get anything over 250, it would have been a tough score to get.
Yes. How heartening is that?
I think it speaks volumes for his maturity. That's the most important thing. I think when you see guys coming into the team, from our side, it's important to make them feel like they belong. Because I feel when you do that, you get the best out of their performances quickly. But then for them to perform means that they're very mature heads on their shoulders. They don't see the occasion as too big. They just see it as another game where they can perform. And not ever, when I looked at Lungi, did I sense any nerves. He was really calm. He just wanted to bowl, and he was excellent. I said his control really, really impressed me a lot. And that is great signs for him as a test bowler going forward.
Suraj, Thando, then Sida.
What was that, and watching from the test or from the other end?
Yeah, very important. I mean, the runs that he scored in this test match was very important runs. But the partnerships is what I focus on. I mean, yes, AB he looks like the superstar obviously from an Indian perspective. But guys like Dean Elgar, as I said on this wicket, for me, the rest of the team needs to understand that there's another role to play as well, and that's the one where you fight and you grind for as long as possible, because the longer you grind, the weaker the opposition gets. And we saw that today with India. I mean, we took it so far above that point where they just collapsed this morning because the runs was just too much. But obviously, AB a special player, and we're very privileged to have him in our team because he's got that ability to counter attack. Same with Virat Kohli. When they do that, it's difficult for bowlers because they put them under pressure. So great to have him in our team.
The big series coming up as far as Test cricket is concerned.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think, you know, when you win series, you don't always get in a position where you win series and you have a game where you can possibly give someone a crack. But then, as soon as I ask myself that question, I think, like, when do you get in a position to beat teams 3-0? And that's doesn't come across a lot. So I'd favour being ruthless and making sure that you can try and dominate a team. We haven't had that opportunity for a while to beat India 3-0. So I wouldn't make, I don't think the team would make changes just to give guys opportunity, although it's a good thing. For me, it's about having the foot on the gas and making sure you apply as much pressure as you can with your strongest 11.
See, that's very interesting.
Well, yeah. You must have.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is back then in India?
I think first part of your question is our win rate away from home is the best in the world. So we have played some really good cricket, even before when we went to India. The last time we didn't play as good as cricket, but I do feel the last time we went there, the conditions was touching on extreme. The way for me how you look at that is even the Indian batting lineup struggled in conditions where I thought their spinners are at that time were much more better than ours in terms of what they're giving you. And every test match lasted 3 days, and I think there was only 100 if I'm not mistaken, and that was the last test. So in this series, yes, there's been times where it's looked tough, but there's been guys scoring runs, there's been guys getting wickets. So I feel there's always that battle between bat and ball. And if you have that, for me, that's a good test wicket. If it's just dominated by seam bowling, if it was in England or South Africa, or spin bowling in Sri Lanka and India, then I think the wickets are excessive. I think if you have all 5 factors in all over 5 days, even 4 days, when you have the first morning in Newlands was really tough, but then it got good. You know, it got a little bit worse towards the end of the test. So yes, I think that was touching on the extreme sides. But if you get that as a team, you still have to try and win. And we learned a lot of lessons from that too. And I expect that when we go there again, we would put up a better fight. Big time. I had the same question when we played against Australia in the one days and we were 4-0 up. It's an amazing opportunity as a team that you have. Not a lot of South African teams have had that opportunity. So that makes us as a team even more hungry to go out there and play our best cricket. To go there when our team is gone. So we're really looking forward to the next test match. Yeah, it's early doors. I think it's unfair to always put either pressure or praise on a guy when he's a fielding coach or a batting coach or a bowling coach, because it's such a short time. You need time to make a difference. What I've enjoyed that we've actually made fielding a responsibility to someone. So there is a guy that takes care of the fielding, which is something we haven't had in the past. So now we have got Justin, and he brings a lot of energy, and he brings goals to the guys and stuff to work on, and that for me is the benefit of having a guy. So to have him, to have a guy of his quality of fielding skills, it's always easier to listen. Especially I think if he works with the fast bowlers, the guys who generally don't spend a lot of time in fielding because obviously their skills would be bowling. So he's been really good, and I think that catch of Mornay today was as good as you can see from a fast bowler. So that's very pleasing that we are doing the right things. And we know that Test cricket it's incredibly important that you field well, and we've done that this series. Yes, it was. It is his idea. We spoke about getting specialists in to fulfill different roles. And at the time, Justin's name wasn't on the table, but it was just finding someone. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, the coach came up with him as a suggestion, and straight away I was up for it, because once again his credentials as a fielder, he will offer a lot of advice to guys who don't understand what it would mean like to anticipate the ball, what sort of positions you get in. So he's been a great asset in that space. Yeah, it was tough for us in India. really tough. Personally and as a team, we struggled there. It was really tough conditions, and mentally it took a toll on us as a team, even after that series, you know. So the guys were extremely motivated in this series to put that right. And I think you could see this and see that in this test match, especially on conditions that should suit them more than it suits us. We adapted really well, and we fought every hour of the test match to try and get ahead in the game. So very pleasing to be sitting at 2-0 up from what we were playing in India. Yeah, Mornay, like I said post-match, Mornay's catch for me is far superior. AB is a brilliant fielder, and Mornay to run like that and to take a catch like that is what Super Sports Did You See That is made of. So we're looking forward to see that. Sure, good question. I think as a general, our team has performed. Everyone's chipped in. We feel as opposition, India is very reliant on Virat to score runs. So that's the difference in terms of AB scored runs, Dean scored runs, I've scored runs, Aiden scored runs. Everyone's chipped in. It's been, the first test was bowling friendly conditions where both teams bowled really well. But I thought this test match, like I said, on a wicket that's supposed to not suit seam bowling a lot, the areas that our bowlers bowled were fantastic. And I suppose we've got probably a little bit more pace, which helps. They've got one or two guys where I feel we've got 3 plus Vernon, which Vernon offers you all that control. So I feel the difference between us and them is just we rely on not just one guy, but as a team we've been better. The good thing is that our group's growing in terms of guys that we can pick from. Lungi it's incredibly pleasing for me to see a guy to come in and perform, because straight away we know as a team that we've got an extra guy that straight away slots into Test cricket. So now we've got 4 or 5 bowlers that even if there was an injury, there's something that can back it up. That is the biggest thing, as I said before, is that when you do have injuries, that you don't have a hole where you feel like we're a little bit light in the bowling department. I feel in South African conditions, you have to have a strong bowling attack. You have to get 20 wickets and then somehow find a way to put totals on the board. Our tail this series has been exceptional. Playing one batsman less, the guys have all chipped in and score runs, and that helps the dynamics of our team quite a bit, because playing 6 batters. But yeah, the fitness is obviously very important, and we will use the one days and the T20s to try and rotate guys so they don't have to play all the cricket, because there is going to be a lot of cricket and it's impossible for everyone to play every game.